History is filled with epic power struggles, but few are as dramatic, personal, and consequential as the battle for the English throne that erupted in the 12th century. This wasn't just a war between armies. It was a deeply personal conflict between two cousins, Stephen of Blois and Empress Matilda, a clash that would plunge England into a nearly 2-decade-long civil war known as the Anarchy. Our story begins with King Henry I, a powerful and effective ruler, but one with a looming crisis. His only legitimate son and heir, William Adelin, tragically drowned in the White Ship disaster of 1120. This single event threw the future of the English crown into complete uncertainty. Henry, in a move that was radical for its time, named his daughter Matilda as his successor. He made all the barons of England swear an oath to support her claim. Among those who swore was one of his favorite nephews, Stephen of Blois. On the surface, the succession was settled, but beneath the veneer of courtly promises, resentment and ambition were brewing. When King Henry I died in 1135, the oaths sworn to Matilda were quickly forgotten. The idea of a queen regnant, a woman ruling in her own right, was almost unthinkable to the powerful Norman barons. They saw it as unnatural, a disruption of the established order. Seizing this opportunity was the charismatic and popular Stephen. While Matilda was far away in Anjou, France, with her husband, Stephen raced across the English Channel. He moved with incredible speed, securing the royal treasury at Winchester and gaining the support of the church and the city of London. Within weeks, he was crowned King of England. The betrayal was complete. When news of Stephen's coronation reached Matilda, she was furious. The throne that was promised to her, secured by her father's will and the oaths of the nobility, had been stolen. She wasn't one to accept such an insult lying down. Matilda was proud, determined, and possessed a will of iron qualities that many admired in a king but found abrasive in a woman. She began to gather her own allies, including her powerful half-brother, Robert of Gloucester. England started to fracture, with loyalties split between the crowned King Stephen and the claimant Empress Matilda. The stage was set for war. The initial years of the conflict were a chaotic mix of sieges, skirmishes, and political maneuvering. Stephen, though a brave warrior, proved to be an indecisive leader. He made powerful enemies by arresting influential bishops and failing to quell the disorder that was spreading across his kingdom. Barons took advantage of the chaos, building their own castles without royal permission and essentially becoming warlords in their own territories. The common people suffered immensely as law and order completely broke down. This period truly earned its name, the Anarchy. Matilda finally landed in England in 1139, ready to press her claim in person. The Civil War escalated dramatically. The turning point seemed to arrive in 1141 at the Battle of Lincoln. In a fierce engagement, King Stephen's forces were defeated, and he himself was captured. After fighting valiantly on foot when his horse was killed, he was overwhelmed and taken prisoner. For a moment, it seemed Matilda had won. She marched towards London to be crowned, styling herself Lady of the English. But victory slipped through her fingers. Matilda's arrogant and demanding nature alienated the citizens of London, who had initially been willing to accept her. Before her coronation could even take place, a hostile crowd, loyal to Stephen's imprisoned cause and stirred up by his wife, also named Matilda, rose up and drove the empress from the city. This was a catastrophic blunder. Her moment of triumph had evaporated. Soon after, her most crucial supporter, Robert of Gloucester, was captured by Stephen's forces. This forced Matilda into a difficult choice, a prisoner exchange. She had to release King Stephen from his cell to get her half-brother back. The war was back on, with both claimants free and neither side holding a decisive advantage. The stalemate resumed, and England's suffering continued. One of the most famous episodes of this conflict showcases Matilda's incredible resilience. In the harsh winter of 1142, she was besieged by Stephen's army at Oxford Castle. Trapped and with supplies running low, her situation seemed hopeless. But Matilda orchestrated a daring and legendary escape, dressed entirely in white to camouflage herself against the snow and ice. She and a few loyal knights were lowered from the castle walls on ropes. They crept through the enemy camp under the cover of a blizzard and walked for miles across the frozen River Thames to safety. It was an act of incredible bravery and desperation, a testament to her refusal to surrender. Despite her tenacity, the tide of the war slowly turned against Matilda. Her support began to wane, and key allies either died or switched sides. The country was exhausted by endless conflict. By 1148, with her cause all but lost in England, Matilda withdrew back to Normandy. It appeared that Stephen had finally secured his throne. However, the story has one final twist. Matilda may have given up the fight for herself, but she never gave up the fight for her son, Henry Fitzempress. As he grew into a young man, he inherited his mother's ambition and proved to be a formidable military and political leader in his own right. While Stephen's reign in England remained troubled, Henry was consolidating his power in France, becoming the Duke of Normandy and acquiring vast new territories through his marriage to the brilliant Eleanor of Aquitaine. In 1153, this young, energetic Henry landed in England, ready to claim his inheritance. By this point, Stephen was a weary, broken man. His own son and heir, Eustace, had recently died, leaving him without a clear successor from his own line. The barons, desperate for peace after nearly 2 decades of chaos, refused to fight another prolonged war. Faced with Henry's growing strength and his own personal tragedy, Stephen agreed to a peace settlement. The Treaty of Wallingford was a remarkable compromise. It stipulated that Stephen would remain King of England for the rest of his life, but he officially named Matilda's son, Henry, as his heir. The war was finally over. Less than a year later, in 1154, Stephen died. Henry Fitzempress ascended the throne peacefully as King Henry II, beginning the great Plantagenet dynasty that would rule England for over 300 years. In the end, who really won the battle for the throne? Stephen wore the crown for most of his life, but he presided over a kingdom torn apart by anarchy and failed to pass it to his own son. Matilda never achieved her personal goal of being crowned queen, but through her sheer persistence and unbreakable will, she ensured that her bloodline would inherit the kingdom. Her son succeeded where she had failed, ultimately fulfilling the promise made to her so many years before. It's a powerful reminder that in the long game of thrones, victory can take many forms, and sometimes the greatest legacy is the one you secure for the next generation. Thanks for watching. If you found this slice of history as fascinating as I do, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories of power, betrayal, and epic conflict. See you next time